This NFC North Division preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is offering you a chance to win $15 million in prizes with Best Ball Mania 4. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP.
Hey everybody, Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner on picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. May we remember Jordy Nelson.
Oh yeah,
the original side piece for Aaron Rodgers turned wifey. That was electric. Remember they used to talk about him. I think there was one quote by one of his teammates: "If he wasn't white, y'all would respect his speed a little bit more." Gator, great. I don't know. I mean, what was the bet that got me this jersey?
Billy from the Soccer Gambling Podcast.
I don't think it was Billy.
No, it was Billy.
I'm
yeah,
pretty
Billy's a known.
No, I know. I'm pretty sure he didn't lose the Jordy Nelson jersey to me. I'm pretty sure this was a fan's jersey. Okay. It's like a double XL. It's not my size. Just reach out. If this is your jersey and you lost a bet to me, let me know what happened.
Explain yourselves, audience. How did Ryan get this Jordy Nelson jersey? He's rocking the Jordy Nelson jersey. We're talking NFC North Division preview. We only have one after this show. We only have one division left, Ryan, and that will be the Thursday night show.
Taking it light this week.
Yeah. Wrapping up 2-a-days officially. And obviously we're live every Sunday to Thursday, 8:30 Pacific, or after the game ends in the National Football League. And man, this has just been quite a journey. We've gone on a futures odyssey, Ryan, previewing all 32 NFL teams, breaking down each individual awards market as well. We will be doing a finals picks episode, get you caught up, give our Super Bowl predictions. We got like one last best ball episode we have to cram in. And then, next week we're going to be out in Vegas starting Tuesday, doing live shows there. We got our new VSiN show next Friday, 9:00 Pacific. If you're out in Vegas, hit us up. Always down to meet up, grab a couple cold ones. It's going to be an awesome trip, awesome season.
Yeah, and
the reality's hitting me.
If you total up all the times we spoke about NFL futures markets this offseason, Sean, it's over 50 episodes.
Really?
Some people don't do that in a year.
Oh my god! 50 episodes of NFL futures.
I took a screenshot of that 1-star review. And I'm gonna make it my
bulletin board material.
I'm gonna make it my phone background.
Oh, come on, yeah, much like Jalen Hurts did. Well, see,
no, I want to keep it front and center.
Okay,
this is my enemy. I didn't catch an L there. I just caught a stray.
Yeah, balance out the random ass haters with a sweet 5-star review. Always appreciate that.
Well, yeah, because the podcast guys are back. The newspaper crowd, as we call them. They're
casuals. Back. What's up, NFL casuals? We just emerged. We just emerged from the trenches, digging out. I mean, we're basically, this is like World War I. Kramer and I have been just in the battlefield, digging out trenches, laying barbed wire, clearing mines, giving you a path to NFL cashing. This basically our whole summer locked in this studio, cranking it out.
Yeah, we sweated through it, so you didn't have to. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I enjoy the process. I'm not complaining.
No, I'm not complaining. I can talk football all day.
I will say it felt more this year than ever before, and it could just be recency bias. Felt more this year than ever that it was one continuous season. I don't really feel like we ever stopped this year talking about futures or the NFL.
I mean, just the other day, it felt like I was being crowned the most accurate mock draft around. I mean,
who could forget?
Do you remember that was this year?
There's a whole segment of our audience that doesn't even know that they're talking to mock draft.
And they
royalty.
just found. I forget if I mentioned this on the podcast, but we were at the.
No, you've not. It's a good time to tell the story. Tell the story.
We were at the Fantasy Football Expo, and a guy came up to me and he's like, "Hey, are you Sean Green?" And we'd been sponsoring the parties. A lot of people coming up, very friendly, very nice, great environment out there, very football oriented environment in Canton. He's like, shook my hand. He's like, yeah, I'm from the mock draft database, and what you did was awesome, man. On one mock draft, he's like, are you gonna do mock drafts next year? I go, yeah, I'll do one bullet. He's like, no, you got to do more. I go, no. One's all I need. And then I could tell I blew his mind. It was awesome.
Well, I mean, Sean, obviously we're going to do a whole live stream revealing your mock draft next year.
Oh, I mean, we already have a banner in the studio. If you don't think we're going to make a big deal about
that's actually
release of my mock draft.
That's beautiful. Just like real sports teams, you wait until the next season to raise the banner in the studio. So it's hanging in the office, but we will have to do a raising ceremony when you release your mock draft next year.
It was funny.
It's going to be so horrible next year too.
It was funny telling the wife, I go, oh, I actually had the best mock draft in the entire internet. She's like, how much money did you win? I go, none. It was a pride thing. But I won in multiple tournaments. Yeah. She's like, okay. And so
it's the all time.
You guys all just practice drafts. I'm like, well, no, this is different. In her mind, she can't understand what a mock draft fantasy and what a mock draft for the NFL players being drafted.
The irony
she can't even tell the difference. She hasn't even started working on her. I don't even think she put out her 53 roster man projection. So I'm worried about my wife.
The irony.
Oh yeah. And Josh is pulling up the video, youtube.com/sportsgambling podcast.
Nice work. And look at that American flag.
Oh, pretty badass.
I mean, we're a small business. We love America. And look at that. I mean, special effects out the wazoo.
That was well put together. Congrats to the video team. All right, enough messing around.
And shout out to Adam. Shout out to Adam Pelletier because he was the one that reached out. And he's like, "Hey, you think a banner would be cool?" I go, "Fuck yeah!"
You know what else is cool? Getting down on some action. You can do it over at DraftKings Sportsbook. We're going to be talking about a ton of bets that we love, that we got the odds from the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Of course, college football this week. Already put out college football picks week 1, part 1. We will be doing part 2 tomorrow night. Breaking down all the big games, the games that matter. Fire up that DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download it now. New states. Here's a couple new states. Sports betting just got legalized in your state. What are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 in college football. Only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Kramer, let's do it. Let's
bada bing, bada boom.
And again, we have individual team previews, so worth going back and checking these out if you're looking for a little deeper dive, walking through the schedule. How'd we get to these records? All of that.
Do you have a personal favorite on the team previews?
It's a good question.
I feel like a couple stood out as we went a little overboard.
Well, I mean, randomly our Titans episode I felt like was electric because we were just so jacked up and high on the Titans. Ryan did have a moment of seriousness in the office where he looked at me and he goes, "What if we're wrong about Ryan Tannehill?" And I'm like, "Ryan, you can't think like that. Where Tannehill stands, we are on Manna Hill right now."
I was gonna say Current quarterback exposures: Dan Jones, Ryan Tannehill, number 2, CJ Stroud, number 3, Kenny Pickett, number 4. I'm swimming in the deep end. I have been trying to acquire some more premiums, but yeah, the Titans, I believe, was the episode that what caused us to go with the second column. So if you want a episode chock full, Texans episode's always a good one, even though it's a little bit older. And the one I was going to throw out, I think the Rams one, a little bit more electric than people would think.
Just ram it, baby.
Considering how lame.
We got
Sean
a bunch
McVay
of good
is.
guests too.
All right, the North. The North episodes. I don't. It would be hard to pick my favorite. I'm sure Bears fans were avidly tuning in to see what I would predict this year, since I was incredibly accurate last year. This year they're 7.5. Sean, 8 and 9 was your prediction.
Yep.
7 and 10 was my prediction. I think we kind of both agreed that their division price was incorrect when compared to the Packers, and just in general, like them kind of being a side by side team with the Packers, both sitting on the bottom at 7. And maybe we talk about them at the same time, because the 7-5 matching up with the odds. I know Bears started ahead, Packers kind of leveled out, but you look at these rosters, and the more that we've had time to reflect, and maybe Jordan Love looking good had something to do with this, but the Bears roster is nowhere near the Packers roster. And so I don't
Especially
really
on
understand
the
convergence of kind of like win equity. Getting smart. People, I know people are tuning back in. I got to start using the big words again. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we disagree a little bit on the Bears. We're off by a win. I have a win deficit, so I have to add wins somewhere. I won't be doing it here, although DJ Moore does look fun, and maybe that's where I'll start. I'll say something. Can I say something nice about the Bears? Because it's the only thing nice I'm going to say. DJ Moore's receptions total is a joke. It's 62.5. This is a man who, whether it was Sam Darnold, you're not going to believe this nugget I found. Baker Mayfield, PJ Walker, Sam Darnold. What do they all have in common? They had games where they targeted DJ Moore over 10 times and he caught 6 of them. Those guys all suck. Well, Sam Darnold could be good with the San Francisco 49ers. Asterisk.
Yeah. But you did just give out an MVP bet for Sam Darnold.
So even if I lower the bar to that, which I'm okay saying Justin Fields can be that. I'm okay saying they're going to scheme some stuff where he's going to just get catches because they're going to scheme bullshit open for him.
Yeah.
62.5 is ridiculous. Over.
Well, and again, I think
you're welcome, Bears fans.
So wait, that was your prop bet?
Yeah, I'm skipping ahead, but I had to say something nice first.
Yeah, for me, I'm keeping it simple for the Bears, just over 7.5 wins, because I do think Justin Fields will improve a little bit. To your point, like bringing in DJ Moore will help him, but again, I don't think he's going to make that Jalen Hurts type leap that we saw last year that I predicted. That I think was a little easier to predict because Jalen Hurts had a full year of starting, and then his full year of starting, he made that jump. I mean, last year was kind of Justin Fields' almost second year of starting. Now he's going to be going into his 3rd year. I think it's going to be better, but still, I mean, going from 3-14 to 8-9 is still a pretty good improvement.
Massive jump.
I mean, 5-win improvement is coach of the year type territory. So
do you think they're in that kind of?
I mean,
are you looking at
J Mark, and God bless J Mark, but he had.
Why do you need God to bless him? He's a Bears fan.
I love J Mark, but he had him going 11-6, so that's an 8-win swing, which is insane.
Most improved team.
Yeah,
Bears are the favorite at +210. So do you take their over 7.5, or do you roll the dice that 5 wins is enough to be the most improved team and take a +210, Sean?
I would take I would take Matt Eberflus coach of the year.
And what is that price right now?
If you like the Bears, I'm not taking it because I think they're going to get over 7.5, but just barely. And I think it's going to be a mix of Justin Fields being a little bit better, defense being a little bit better, but still not great. And so that's kind of how I'm getting there.
Just eyeballing it, I'm not seeing the other team that you have making it greater than 5-win jump. So I guess what I'm saying is you should compare the over to most improved, because if you jump 5 wins, you're kind of making, like, that's your theory, right? Like getting 5-6 wins is probably easy. Lock it up. You're done. And so unless you think there's a team out there that's going to do better, maybe that's the angle.
Well, I mean, Titans, I think are in the mix too. I really do, Ryan. I guess that would be them going. Yeah, no.
What
to
do
your
you think
point.
the Titans is?
No, I they're like 15-1 as most improved. It's crazy.
75-1.
What?
Write this down.
All right,
We're gonna have to find a way after the show.
Ryan. Speaking of finding a way, hopefully you found a way to get down on the DraftKings divisional bets that we gave out, because I gave out Khalil Herbert to lead the NFC North in rushing yards on when we did the Bears preview at 60-1. His price now, and I still like it at this price, so I'll give it out again. Obviously, it pays to subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast. Stay tuned and download all the episodes so you don't miss 40, plus 4,000 of CLV, because now Khalil Herbert most rushing yards in the division is 20-1. I still like it at 20-1.
Look at all that CLV.
I
Sean.
still do though. I mean,
and especially when you look at the prices relative to the other backs.
yes.
Detroit, you have a timeshare.
Yeah.
As however you want to break it down. Green Bay, you have a timeshare. And in Minnesota, you have Madison, who I think,
Very unproven.
He's got the best path, but also very unproven.
And Khalil Herbert, he passes the eye test.
Well, the issue is Justin Fields steals a lot of rushing yards.
No, that's the other thing. And Justin Fields is the favorite. So, but again, I think
he's going to pass more, right? Isn't that what we're being told?
I think they're going to try and throw the ball a little bit more. Again, maybe Fields just dominates, but the more we're hearing about the Khalil Herbert workload, it sounds like they're loading him up to be a bell cow back. I mean, you can have, Miles Sanders is probably a great comparison last year, where Jalen Hurts still had a really good rushing season, but
there's more touchdowns than yards, right? He was closer to 700, not 1,100.
Oh,
but
yeah, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I'm saying, like, if Fields has like that kind of year, Miles Sanders still at 1269 on the ground. So
yeah,
Khalil Herbert could, if Khalil Herbert gets 1269, I think he could win this.
Also like that play. I mean, we absolutely have just punctured and penetrated this division.
These division yard, and again, that's why you get on these early, because we have a good feel for who's going to shake out as the back. Again, also like coming back real quick, just hitting on the news. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, we were mentioning this. Like the Colts aren't trying to trade Jonathan Taylor. They're not trying to trade him. They're not trying to pay him. They're in a situation where if he's not going to play for them, he's not going to play for anyone. Like no one's going to.
He fucked up.
Give a crazy, give them anything that's worth getting rid of Jonathan Taylor. They'll just hold on to Jonathan Taylor. Hey, if you want to play football this year, sure. You'll play for us.
You want to play chicken with Jim Irsay? I don't think I'd want to do that.
Yeah, I mean that guy's had some late nights where he played some dangerous games.
No, thanks.
Just Google Jim Irsay and it's a real rabbit hole, Ryan.
All right, so I didn't give you the future I love.
Yeah.
And for the Bears, it's a little. We'll say it's a little bit juicy, but -170. I'm hitting the smash button, right? Like if I'm hitting the smash button. I'm going up to the window. I'm asking what the limit is. Now, -170, Bears miss playoffs. I started with something nice. I'm ending with something not nice.
It's -170.
Yeah.
To miss the playoffs.
See, conservatively, they're the third best team in the division. I don't know if this division carries 3 teams in the playoffs.
I don't hate that. But I guess I just don't understand where the market stands on the Bears. Cause you look at, to your point, like the most improved, they're the favorite. But how could they be the most improved for the favorite and not have better playoff odds?
Because their win total has them at 4.5 wins improved, which is, I think if you're looking at win totals, the most.
So it does seem like they will. 8 and 9 just makes so much sense.
And do they make the playoffs at 8 and 9?
No. So I think you're, I think
sometimes you get
playoffs.
locks for under -200. You know what I mean? That's where we like to put the boundary.
What are your
leaning? No, I'm stay. You want to go to the Packers?
Yeah, I don't have a ton more to add. I mean, the Bears.
What happens in the first couple of weeks where that changes my mind, and I'm like, oh, the Bears are really like if they're smashing the ball down people's throats.
Yeah,
and
if they're winning due to Justin Fields passing, then I'll definitely reel. Then I think you have to raise the ceiling on this team.
Listen to these defenses they start off against: Packers, Bucks, Chiefs, Broncos, Commanders. Okay. Let's go back, move to another team that has an actual chance to do something this year. The Green Bay Packers. Again, do not understand why they share a win total with the Bears, 7.5. We both said 9 and 8 over. The 4-1 division price. I mean, that opened as the longest shot in the division. I understand Aaron Rodgers left. That's a big story, but we've repeatedly gone back to the well over and over and over again that Matt LaFleur has always wanted to run a different offense. You remember what that offense looked like in Tennessee. It's about running the ball. It's about play action. It's about motion, get scheming guys open, a lot of play action. Think McVay. I wonder if the team isn't going to take a step forward because it's going to be on schedule.
Addition by subtraction. Right?
I'm not going to say Jordan Love is better than Aaron Rodgers, but I think what they're going to have him do is hand the ball off a shitload. Which again, I'll jump ahead. Prop. Give me Aaron. Which, by the way, they've opened this market because at some point we were looking for these, we couldn't find them. Aaron Jones rush and receiving yards.
Okay,
1,200.5 on the nose. Look at his numbers. He's gone under this total once in the last 4 seasons, and it was 1190. I don't understand in a system where this isn't touchdowns, this isn't fantasy scoring. He's going to be relied on. He's going to be the number one option in the offense.
Yeah.
And so I don't see why we would be looking at him to regress.
No, I don't see it.
Aaron Jones over 1,200.5 scrimmage yards or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Give me Packers to win the division at 4-1. I mean, I've seen, again, you don't want to take away too much from the preseason, but
you seen enough.
I thought Jordan Love looked pretty sharp. There was a confidence there that, again, in his brief starts previously, that it just wasn't there. I mean, I think what scared me off of Jordan Love in the preseason, and we may have touched on this, but it was the small dog energy of him
taking
like not betting on himself with that contract. That was very, oh wow, Jordan Love doesn't even believe in himself, but throughout the preseason, throughout the training camp, the team's rallying around him.
Well, let's turn that.
I think Romeo Doubs is really good. I like Christian Watson. I like Luke Musgrave. He could make a difference on this team.
Let's twist it around a different way. What if you're Jordan Love and the team gives you an option to lock in 2 years, so you have that 2-year runway to grow? I mean, I know that they probably tear it up and draft a quarterback if you suck year 1, but maybe that's where the confidence is coming from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously we misread the situation. He looks competent.
Yeah.
And not every quarterback has looked competent. And guess what? They have, again, back to the thesis on the Bears Packers comparison, their roster is just so much better. So much better. Yeah. So I'll juice up.
And I think Matt LaFleur is a pretty good coach.
I'll juice that. Well, I mean, he managed Aaron Rodgers for the last couple of years. I'll juice up that division price of yours, and I'll go Green Bay Vikings exacta box plus 7.
No, I love that too. I mean, I was going back and forth. I just wanted to go on the record that I have the Packers winning the division, and Ryan, to finally balance out my wins, I'm going to.
What are we doing here?
I'm going to give them an extra win, get them up to 10-7. So again, I Packers make playoffs. Okay. I love the Minnesota Green Bay exacta box as well, because the 2 teams I'm looking to fade in this division are the Lions and the Bears. I know I gave over on the Bears, but I guess just like how much hype the Bears are getting.
It's a lot. It's a big adjustment. And
for me, prop, it's pretty easy. Jordan Love under 12.5 interceptions. I think Matt LaFleur, puts these quarterbacks in situations to succeed. And I think Jordan Love, if anything, maybe starts out a little bit conservative. They're going to give him some easy stuff. He's not going to have to force a ton of balls. And he seems somewhat accurate. So
I think that I think we're Green Bay is going to be giving Atlanta a run for its money in terms of rush rate this year.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's going to even Aaron Rodgers, for even like peak Aaron Rodgers, it was never like a volume thing. He wasn't a guy that, and you wouldn't even want to like play some of his like overpassing yards or lead the league in yardage. It was always touchdowns. It was always super high completion percentage. It was always efficiency.
4 TD games, right?
And I think we can get there. So yeah, give me Jordan Love under 12.5 interceptions. And Ryan, you like Aaron Jones on the props?
Yeah, we are. Scrimmage yards over the 1,200.5, and I also like the interception prop. I think this is a team that their season points total is set right at about 21.5 points average. And they're a team that I could see just playing defense and running the ball and being in a lot of low scoring games, a lot of clock movement. And so, however you can find ways to bet against less possession, like the only thing I'm confident in is that they're going to run the shit out of the ball. And maybe we finally see AJ Dillon do something. All right.
Well, Ryan, speaking of that, Underdog Fantasy, I already am getting down on some of their sweet NFL pick'ems, aka higher lower of your favorite fantasy stats. It's a lot of fun. Gave out a 3-teamer, and it included the guy we just talked about here, Ryan, Mr. Jordan Love, higher 206.5 passing yards week 1 against the Chicago Bears. I mean, Kramer, what am I missing here? That feels really good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been crafting some. I've been getting involved in the pick'em marketplace.
I tied it together with a Juju under 44.5 receiving yards, and then Jalen Hurts over a half rushing touchdowns, because that's just easy money. And someone wrote back, "Oh, surprise, Jalen Hurts." Sorry, Eric. Sorry if you don't like me giving out some winners. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Get the 100% deposit match up to $100. And the 3-teamer there, essentially putting together 3 picks, pays plus 600. So really good price over there. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
Just scrolling through all my plays. I do. I'm noticing I have a.
They got season long. They got college football.
I got a Damian Pierce over 5.5 rushing touchdowns tied to a couple things.
And the college stuff, especially, super interesting. I know it's hard for some people to find.
I got a Brennan Armstrong and Trevor Etienne.
I know some states it's tough to find. Pick them higher, lower for fantasy stuff for college football, but Underdog has a bunch. So
they got esports.
Esports is really.
You want to do soccer?
Really
there's a lot of acronyms in here. All right. And I have been loading up. This is going to be one of those things where I'm gonna have to do actual inventory at the end of the year. Minnesota 8.5 was their win total. Discussion of the offseason was, how bad is Minnesota going to regress? Those lucky motherfuckers. 10-7 was your pick. 9-8 was my pick. I felt like we were both fairly conservative on them, and yet here we are, both kind of having them sit atop the division. Nothing has happened in the offseason that has made me think more like, why is this division price not moving? And if anything, it's bounced up a little bit.
Yeah, no, again, that's why I love that exact box of Green Bay and Minnesota. I'll make my play here. Minnesota to make playoffs at plus 104, but I get that they can regress, and I do think they will. I don't think they're gonna be a 13 or 14, but you can regress 4 games and still hit the over 8.5 and still probably get into the playoffs.
All right. So I've read enough quotes about the defense this year, like things like, it's almost like when you find out Bryce Harper needed to have like LASIK surgery, or, when something really basic was not being taken care of.
Jameis Winston,
which, by the way, Jameis looks amazing. Jameis
free Jameis.
Free Jameis might be back. Cause did you watch him in the preseason?
Oh, come on. Just give him a chance.
Just give him a chance. Free Jameis. I mean, there are some bad quarterbacks.
Oh, Ryan, wait a minute. We got Eli in the chat saying, just popping in for a quick go Cowboys. Get the hell out of here, Eli. Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh,
maybe that's Eli Manning's burner there, Ryan.
You think so?
Fellow Eli.
He is a comic. He's very funny. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, and actually, you know what, Sean? Let's bump him up a win. I'll do it so you don't mangle my beautiful sheet.
Okay.
But I'm bumping him up a win. I think we're
joining the elite air of 10-7. That's what I have. Vikings at 10-7. I have Green Bay 10-7. Chicago 8-9.
All right, so I'm still at a 1-win deficit, but all right. So 10-7 now, clear winners plus 275. To me, that's the. I can make cases for some of the other division winners, but I don't feel as confident. This feels very strong. This feels like something has to go very right for the Lions and or the Packers, And I like the way that I can play this division at plus 275 and I can play the exact at plus 750, which is like a mini hedge, but also a mini parlay stack. And so again, you do the math, 275, you're talking about like a 30% chance. That's just not right. It's just not
Brian
right.
Flores.
And back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like
Brian Flores coming back with the defense, I think is pretty big.
Well,
again, coming into
what
go
some of the
defense.
players, if you read some of the quotes that some of the defensive players are saying about feeling more prepared, but it's like the LASIK stuff where it's like, man, it sounds like whatever they were doing last year was a joke, and now it's like a professional outfit. So maybe that's a bigger jump than we originally accounted for. And so for my prop, doesn't really impact my take here. I think they're going over their points, and it doesn't really matter if the defense is good. Okay, maybe I'm a little worried. Defense is probably not going to be great though.
No, I think
a step to average is what I'm looking for.
It's weird. You could like, I mean, they were 13-4 last year, so even projecting 3 games of regression, you can still be high on their offense and be high on this team. For me, my player prop, I'm actually going under Alexander Madison 900.5 rush yards. I don't know. You think
he's getting hurt?
Ryan, I'm not one to.
You don't do that, right?
No. I would never project injury, but this is a guy who he hasn't done it. We're going into year 5. If you've been in the league for 5 years as a running back and 491 yards is the most.
He's a backup,
right? Probably for a reason. Again, I just don't think
they re-signed him because they thought he could do it.
Right. I get that. I just think we're gonna see.
You're predicting injury. That's fine. You're just saying in your range of outcomes, you like the injury side of the coin better because he's never done it before.
4 years, he's only gotten up to 491 yards. I just don't think
never had the opportunity.
I don't think he's going to get the attempts. 1, possibly because of injury, but 2, I think they're going to work in these other backs. Like
you're forgetting how much his dreads used to make him look like Dalvin Cook. You'd be like, damn, can't tell if that's Dalvin Cook or Alexander Madison.
I just don't think they're gonna. I just don't see it only being Alexander Madison. Like they drafted a running back. They're high on some of these other guys.
Yeah, Dwayne McBride, Ty Chandler.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be one of the situations where none of those guys have that awesome of a year fantasy
Leonard
wise.
Fournette? Question mark.
Kareem Hunt maybe ends up there. Who knows? But I don't think it's just going to be him. I just don't think he's Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and just to. I can't say I agree or disagree with that. It's sharp play though. It's an under. It's a nice lean. Yeah. The point total.
No, I didn't lean. I picked it. You're leaning, Ryan. Or no, you're passing.
No, I would not take the under here. I would probably take the over or pass. I think he's ready for the moment.
Passing is not an option.
I've been drafting the shit out of him in the 5th, 6th round. So I'm in on Alexander.
I don't want that.
All right. The 415.5 points that they would need to go over, it's 24.5 points. So it's less than they scored last year. I don't think that offense is taking a step back. They only added more weapons. They have Hawkinson now for a full season, although he's holding out or whatever is going on.
Holding in.
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure, just like Bosa, they'll figure it out. No one's missing game checks. All right, you want to talk Lions? Somehow they were at the top, 9.5. We both went under 9 and 8 for you, 8 and 9 for me. Don't understand the make playoffs price. Don't understand.
It's crazy.
The division price. 93 was the last time they won the division.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions have never won the NFC North because the last time they won the division, it was the NFC Central. So
okay, so
imagine the last.
Do you believe
time,
in miracles?
I do, but I don't believe in this Detroit Lions team. Those are two separate things. The last time we saw the Lions win a division, you were blowing on your Tecmo Super Bowl to get it to work on your NES.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
No. I just don't see the incredible hype for the Detroit Lions.
Dan Campbell.
I'm taking a shot on Detroit Lions 4th place in the division. Spicy. Yeah, at plus 600. Now, when we walk through, to be fair, their their win-loss, I got them at 9 and 8. But I think there's certainly, I like the value there at 6-1 for them to be last place. Maybe tie the Bears at 8 and 9 or whatever, and kind of lose the tiebreaker there. I just don't see the hype. I don't think they fixed their defense. I just don't. Like we walked through all their offseason, everything they did in the offseason. Jamison Williams, that's been a complete disaster. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of fun, but that's not how you. That's how you don't use that high of a pick on a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. We haven't seen that work. Ask the Dallas Cowboys if they regret drafting a running back that high. Oh no, wait, sorry, he's a weapon. Okay, we get it. Look at Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons. If Bijan Robinson ends up taking them the Super Bowl this year, I'll say I was wrong about the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, how dare you? You know I love that. You know I like that scenario.
But Brian, like we've seen this. You use top tier. I just don't think they did great in the draft. Now they cashed some draft props for us. Shout out to the Lions for using their first pick on a running back. That was a major cash.
Mega.
I thought it was going to be Bijan Robinson. I didn't think it was Jahmyr Gibbs. But I'll still take credit for the win.
I disagree with one thing you're saying. I do think you're right. Drafting a running back probably not optimal for team construction, but does make you better now.
I don't know about that.
Adding a playmaker that's going to be a playmaker now makes you better. And I think Gibbs and Bijan will be playmakers. We're going to watch a fucking highlight and you're going to be like, oh my God.
It just doesn't.
My take might not be good. Gibbs might be good. I think Gibbs might be a little bit more than you think he is. That being said, I'm out on the Lions and the under is one of my favorite bets. I considered
9.5 is crazy.
Considered missed playoffs, but it's plus 140. Under 9.5 plus 100. You know, if they go 9-8, they could make the playoffs. So I'm a little bit of a nice soft landing spot here.
I mean, going back to the Bijan Jahmyr Gibbs, great comparison, Ryan. You would say Saquon Barkley had a really good rookie year, and I mean, like rookie of the year, right? And one of the better rookie years.
I think you're grasping at straws. I think the scenario is probably a little different.
Okay,
not so. I think the Atlanta scenario is maybe closer to a comparison. I think the Gibbs Detroit scenario, that team's a little bit more complete.
Okay, because the 2018 New York Giants, they got 1307 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, 91 catches, 721 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns out of Saquon Barkley. It amounted to 5 wins. So who would you say, or like in your mind, what's a good team that drafted a running back really high and then immediately had an impact?
I mean, putting me on the spot, I'm simply making the high like a higher level thesis that the idea of adding a playmaker matters. I don't. You've brought up one example.
Okay.
I mean, we've seen running backs step into situations and be good. I mean, the Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't a huge contributor, but they did well after they drafted him. It didn't crush their team.
No, I don't think it's going to crush their team. I just don't think it's a good. I don't think it's going to be a difference maker at the end of the season, win-loss wise.
For the Lions, a team where it actually adds a weapon to passing.
Wait, you're high on the Lions?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't have to be a complete donk and like frame all my arguments into the same. Because I do think Gibbs will be a weapon for that team.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be good because I think Jared Goff is coming off one of his best seasons ever, and I don't know if that's sustainable.
So you think Gibbs will make them better, but Jared Goff will take that away, and then that's how they get worse this season?
No, I can say Gibbs will make them better, and they won't be a good team because their defense still sucks. There's a reason they had a huge losing streak followed by a huge winning streak. They'll still possess a lot of variance. They'll be able to score with anyone in the league, but they'll also give up a ton of points.
I guess my point is, I agree with everything you said there. I think that's why you draft a pass rusher that high, because he's a guy.
That's a different argument.
Oh, okay.
So if you're saying, should they have invested that in a defensive player?
Yes, that was my point.
Okay. No, yeah.
It was a bad draft pick because they had other more pressing needs that also are better values.
Oh, I agree with
that position.
And from that perspective, I think the Falcons, their only need was another running back.
Yeah.
So I think that was a great pick. Their
only
come on.
You snuck that in there.
Yeah,
right?
Pay attention to the show. Yeah, props. I was going to be different, and I was going to actually say something nice because I do think the more that just kind of looking into my fantasy exposure and stuff, Amon-Ra St. Brown is live to lead the league in receptions, and it's 18-1. But I couldn't quit the Jared guy. I mean, the fact that they're giving us 25-1, I think we agree on this. The 25-1 most interceptions for Jared Goff. It's everything you want, right? High expectation. They're going to throw a lot.
It's got some confidence
and no fucking backup to be seen.
No.
And so what does that give you?
And he's had some pretty high, even last year 7, but then if you look at the advanced stuff, number of turnover worthy plays, number of dropped interceptions for Jared Goff. Year before that 8, but then last couple of years in LA he had 13, 16, 12. So he's capable of getting up there in the INT.
And I think again, like when you're a team that projects to play in some higher scoring shootouts, more variance, more opportunity. It certainly shouldn't be 25-1. And by the way, when we were out in Vegas, the Circa had Dak at like 18-1. It was just an outlier number, just an outlier. But yeah, I mean, is there any chance Jared Goff gets benched?
No. Because they're in ultimate win now mode. Their plan for quarterback was in the future is draft Hendon Hooker, but that guy, I don't think he's gonna. I mean,
and Teddy Bridgewater's washed up. Like we're over Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think that's a reliable backup situation. I mean, we saw it in Miami. He got out there for 2 seconds and got hurt. Like that's the sign of a truly bad backup.
Did you see?
They're so bad they get hurt.
Did you see in that preseason game? He was wearing number 50.
Yeah, that shouldn't be.
And actually, he's according to the depth chart, Teddy Bridgewater is the 3rd quarterback. Nate Sudfeld, aka Studfeld, is the backup in Detroit. So there could be a scenario where the Lions end of the year want to get a look at Nate Sudfeld.
A lot of teams have gotten looks at Nate Sudfeld, and they're still looking.
Guy's still in the league.
Still looking. All because they he once. What is this? Because he once played for Shanahan or something.
Who, Nate Sudfeld?
Yeah, why do these guys keep going from coach to coach? Oh, they know the system.
In the NFL, it's great because they really, at least compared to many things in life, the NFL is a meritocracy, right? Like if you play well, you're going to keep playing.
Except for backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback is one of those rare things where it's kind of a political job. Like you have to know the coach, you got to know the system, you got to be good enough to not threaten, be good enough to
I mean, you can't be threatening. That's basically
be good enough to
Chase Daniels.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just be. I mean, Tyrod, right? You'll get stabbed in the lung by the medical team, and you'll just quietly go off into the sunset and sue. I mean, again, this is why people not paying attention to football thought that Colin Kaepernick was being blackballed.
Yeah,
but in reality, no fucking coach wants a knucklehead as a backup. So I don't think Jared Goff's getting pulled out for anything other than injury.
And Colin Kaepernick,
he sucked. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't.
He lost his job to Blaine Gabbert, and then like a couple weeks later started the protesting thing. So obviously
different Blaine Gabbert, right?
there are some I'm sure there's some NFL owners that don't agree with him politically or find that offensive, that didn't want him on their team. But also there were probably some NFL owners that agreed with him politically, but didn't want to deal with the media circus associated with being a backup quarterback, especially if he's just not that good. Like Michael Vick got a second chance. Why? Because Michael Vick had unparalleled athletic ability and something that you could not teach. And that's why he got to play more, right? Like if Michael Vick was Colin Kaepernick, you would have never heard from him again because
Tyreek Hill and Stephen Ross aren't hanging out on the boat talking about investing tips.
No,
but guess what? Tyreek Hill wins Stephen Ross football games. So he gets to play.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean,
he's down at the marina slapping people around. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sure these NFL owners hate a bunch of their players or don't get along with them or don't agree with what they're doing. So they find a way if they're going to help them win games, aka make a ton of money. Serial pointing out.
Wait to explain that.
No, but I feel like people make it more complicated than it is.
Yeah, are you good at football and are you a distraction? Those are pretty much the two things.
Someone pointed out I do say AKA a bunch. So, but hey, deal with it. AKA. Let's talk to Serial in the chat.
Got to watch the game tape, Sean.
Why he's asking if it's about like not being controversial and getting along with the owners. Why is Bailey Zappi getting cut? I was surprised. That was one of the few. We talked about the Colt McCoy cut. I'm surprised that the Patriots cut both Malik Cunningham and Bailey Zappi. I was pretty surprised because one, I thought Zappi was certainly good enough to keep around as your number 2, and he showed a couple flashes. I mean, I don't certainly don't think he deserved to be a starter over Mac Jones, but I'm surprised you expose him to waiver claims like that. And then Malik Cunningham, I thought, again, limited preseason tape I saw out of him, but I saw a little bit of some pretty interesting stuff there. I assumed, and again, I wasn't following Patriots camp super closely, but I assumed he was going to make the roster, and they were going to drop some gadget stuff for him.
They have to be putting Malik Cunningham on the practice squad.
I would think so, but again, he did enough to kind of be interesting in my mind.
Are the Patriots seeing what the Cardinals did and being like, "Huh, this is an interesting strategy"? Is Belichick playing chess here?
I mean, right now on their 53-man roster, it is just Mac Jones. So
it doesn't seem
they must have some pretty good information that these guys are going to clear waivers or something. I mean, they only have one quarterback on their 53-man roster. They have two running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott. So again, they're probably doing some finagling here. Obviously, you're going to need more than just Mac Jones going into the first game.
According to the beat, it sounds like they're both expected to clear waivers and join the practice squad.
That's
which
surprising because
I
if I was a team desperate for a quarterback, I'd claim Bailey Zappi. Again, if I'm the Cardinals, I'd claim Bailey Zappi. I think Bailey Zappi is more interesting than Josh Dobbs, right?
Yeah, I mean Bailey Zappi has unless the record's been broken, he has the college passing record. Like I'm passing touchdowns. I think
Put Bailey Zappi in a dome, see what he can do. The kid can spin it.
Yeah. McVay should pick him up.
You should just try. Again, Bailey Zappi, I think, and Malik Cunningham. There was enough there that would warrant at least like signing him to the practice squad or something. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean these aren't fine, as many people will tell you. These
they always be reporters. 53-man roster, but it is not final. Okay, there are going to be some late additions. You mean the Eagles are going to have a punter this season? All right,
thank you. The Eagles don't have a punter?
No, they cut their punter.
So you're like the guy they're like the guy at the fantasy draft that doesn't draft a kicker, trying to be crafty.
Oh, it's like that high school team that doesn't punt. I mean, Sirianni's a plus EV coach, Ryan. You remember the Eagles preview?
Why not just have a player punt?
That would be again.
Or more importantly, why can the kicker? What can we still?
Yes,
that's
the real
punting?
workaround. The kicker needs to learn how to punt. Jay, you tell me Jake Elliott can kick a 62-yard field goal. He can't kick a decent punt. I mean, 49ers. How many quarterbacks did they keep, Ryan?
Probably two. I don't know. Do they waive Brandon Allen?
I don't know.
I don't go anywhere near 49ers Twitter anywhere. X. I don't.
They did keep Brandon Allen, so they got Purdy, Darnold, and Brandon Allen.
Fucking donkey franchise.
Brandon Allen was going to be the third quarterback all along.
Sean,
Breaking news, people.
You don't win best ball mania with 3 quarterbacks. 2 quarterback builds only.
All right, Ryan.
What's next?
What's next? Well, we'll be back tomorrow evening, aka every Sunday through Thursday, 8:30 Pacific.
I know I'm gonna laugh every time I hear you say AKA.
Did I say AKA?
You just said AKA, yeah. It just happens. Sometimes we gotta watch the game tape.
I'm breaking it down.
Yeah, it's almost we're still preseason. We have time to get it corrected.
We will be here every Sunday through Thursday, 8:30 Pacific, live here on the Sports Gambling Podcast, breaking it down. We're going to announce tomorrow the College Football Bankroll Challenge, which will be free to enter. Of course, do your part in the war against corporate gambling. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Patreon. Get access to our NFL futures pick sheets. Again, all the picks we've made throughout the season, all in one convenient place. Very easy to look up the team and go back, check out the team by team previews. I'm sure we're going to talk some more fantasy football, Ryan, before things close out. It's the heat is on. The heat is in the hat, and the NFL season right around the corner. Cannot wait.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Forgot about that. Heat is in the hat.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
You like that, Sean?
Kramer. Let it ride.
You like